This video is part 1 of lesson 1 of Flop Gun, and it covers terminology. To talk about basic fighter maneuvering, or BFM, we need to all speak the same BFM language. Without knowing these concepts, BFM words and phrases, it is difficult to clearly and concisely talk about dogfighting together. This video covers simple terms that you need to be familiar with, which help us talk about BFM. Many terms in flying and in the military also have acronyms, which can get very confusing quickly. So, when we come across them, I'll try spell them out as I go along. You likely know a lot of this already, so feel free to skip ahead to what you don't. Positional terms. Heading crossing angle. This is the angle between your two flight paths. The Navy and Air Force do this differently, so I think it's actually easier to skip this and just stick to the AWAC style calls of hot, cold, and flanking. Hot is when a target is heading towards you, or you are heading towards a target. Cold, the target is heading away from you. Flanking is a target that is moving sideways with respect to you, i.e. it's not getting closer or further away. You can also add the moniker right to left or left to right to describe which direction it is flanking with respect to your nose, just as you could also say it's to the east, west, north or south. Aspect. Aspect is the angle between your aircraft and the other aircraft in the sky, irrespective of which direction you are both flying, which is heading crossing angle again. An easy way to describe aspect is to use clock position. We have positions around a clock face, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on through 12, with the additional information of either high or low to describe simply if people are above or below you. The 3-9 line is an imaginary line that runs through your jet that joins up the 3 o'clock position with the 9 o'clock position. Anything in front of the 3-9 line is obviously in front of you, and anything behind your 3-9 is behind you. Pretty simple so far, right?
Shit, there's 2 of them!
Pursuit curves. Lead, pure, lag. Lead pursuit is where you fly a course in the sky so that your nose and future flight path will fly out in front of the enemy jet. Pure pursuit is where the course will point right at the enemy jet. Lag is flying a path that will place your course behind the flight of the enemy jet.
Time for a short motion picture interlude, as we join in with the adventures of One-Eyed Biggles and Syphilis Tim, starring in The Perils of Pure Pursuit. Will the plucky duo survive this quandary? Tune in next week for more adventures of One-Eyed Biggles and Syphilis Tim.
Range. We talk about range in nautical miles above 1 nautical mile, and we talk about it in feet when below this. It's good to remember that 6,000 feet is approximately 1 nautical mile, and half of this, or 3,000 feet, is roughly air-to-air gun range. The weapons envelope. Arm in and arm max change shape based on your maneuvering, the bandit's maneuvering, your relative speeds, whether you are hot, cold, or flanking, altitude, type of weapon fired. If it's a Fox 3, 2, 1, or gun, they all have different ranges as well. The weapons engagement zone, or WEZ. This is just a term, or an acronym, that describes when you are within weapons parameters and can shoot successfully. Rmax is the maximum range at which a weapon can be employed, and is a fairly common sense term to understand. Rmin, though, is the minimum range, and it's less intuitive to me, but missiles coming off the rail take time to accelerate and turn, and then your target can be gone before this happens or if you're in too close. Fights where you can see your opponent happen within visual range, or WVR. Fights beyond visual range, or BVR, are a very different topic, and we cover it much later. BFM, WVR, and Air Combat Maneuvering, or ACM, are often used semi-interchangeably by people to mean dogfighting up close and personal, and often but not exclusively with the gun, though ACM often normally means 2v2 or 2v1 types of encounter. This lesson is almost exclusively about BFM using the gun, though learning these steps serves as an important step for later lessons using missiles, at least when within visual range, as everything applies there as well. Now we've got some basic terms down, we'll be able to talk about BFM or ACM, and understand each other much more clearly. I know many of you watching this already knew all of these terms, so thanks for your patience and sticking through with everything here. I'll finish by wishing you happy dogfighting and tune in for part 2 of BFM 101, Basic Turn Dynamics.